Study Session 5: Designer Drugs and Poly-Drug Abuse. Introduction. The purpose of this study session is to expose you to other drugs that have not been seriously classified under the previously discussed substance in Study Session 4. Marijuana, designer drugs, and the concept of poly-drug abuse are discussed in this study session. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this session, you should be able to discuss designer drugs and explain poly-drug abuse and its effects on individual abusers. Designer drugs and act-alike drugs. Act-alike drugs are substances that look and act like illegal substances. For example, a combination of high doses of powdered caffeine and over-the-counter decongestants produce some of the effects of amphetamines. Hence, they are called act-alike drugs. These drugs are considered dangerous because of their own serious adverse effects. The risk of accidental overdose is also very high. There are other drugs considered as designer drugs. These drugs are designed by amateur chemists. They are derivative of amphetamines that produce a dream-like feeling of being high, lasting up to 8 hours. Examples of designer drugs are MDA and MDMA, ecstasy. Most of these drugs are sold under disguise or before they are recognized as illegal. New drugs are widely sold and used before anyone has a chance to evaluate their potential side effects. Most of such drugs carry serious medical and psychological risks. Carroll, 1989. Poly-drug abuse. Poly-drug abuse refers to an individual who abuses many conscious alerting drugs at the same time. This greatly increases the possibilities of addiction and dependence. Usually, the use of drugs will interfere with an individual's adjustment to school, work, or family. The drugs will also interact chemically to produce toxic effects. Ordinarily, the use of any drug carries with it some level of danger, but poly-drug abuse is especially more dangerous. Poly-drug abusers particularly have a high rate of mental health problems. Halikas and Rima, 1974. In the Nigerian context, an individual may habitually eat kola nut. Some of them have problems sleeping, insomnia. To get sleep, they then take sedatives or tranquilizers like Valium. Additionally, cigarettes and alcohol form part of the drug intake. Over time, such individuals develop a series of physiological and psychological problems. Study session summary. We have discussed that act-alike drugs are substances that look and act like illegal drugs. Designer drugs are produced by amateur chemists as derivatives of amphetamines that produce a dreamlike feeling of being high, an experience that could last for about 8 hours. Poly-drug abuse refers to the use of many consciousness alerting drugs at the same time. End of study session 5. Thank you for listening.